Greetings. Salute. This is for all you brothers and sisters who love Mr. Farrakhan and don't realize that he's not giving us any justice.
One that needs help as great as the American so-called Negro. We hate ourselves. That's right. Because of the teaching and the training of our slave masters, who put one of us against the other.
When Elijah Muhammad spoke, the black poor listened.
Your slave master and all of his children are none other than the devil.
Elijah Muhammad referred to the United States as the wilderness of North America because his people had nowhere to go and no one to turn to until he was sent by Allah to wake up America's sleeping blacks by teaching them Islam. According to Muhammad, Islam was the true religion of black people before they were stripped of it by their slave masters and forced to become Christians. He taught his followers that the white man's heaven was the black man's hell.
There's no such thing as you are going to die and one day come up out of the earth meeting your friends that also died before you. I said, get out of that slavery teaching. That's the white man's teaching to keep you blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of God.
According to the nation's history, Elijah Muhammad got his teachings from this man, a silk peddler, who claimed to be Allah in the flesh. The two of them met in the ghetto of Detroit in 1930, and that's where they began the Nation of Islam. Times were hard, so they attracted their first members by promising them more prosperous lives.
The first teaching that the ministers were given, and all of them knew it by heart, I knew it by heart, says if you will accept Allah in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad and his messenger, and Elijah Muhammad, and become a Muslim and support this Nation of Islam, that Allah has promised you that he will give you money, plenty money, good homes, and friendship in all walks of life. This was the teaching. This was the opening. This was the bait.
Elijah Muhammad used all the bait he could to fish dead blacks out of the grave of North America, so he opened businesses to lure those who needed jobs.
So we used a lot of tricks to get them to come there. And we told them if they were poor, say, look, we got jobs. So we make jobs for our people. And we did.
The nation also provided education of a very basic nature for its adult members. Elijah Muhammad referred to the minds of his people as baby minds, because under slavery, their minds had never been developed.
One of the most important things that the messenger taught us was taking a bath at least once a day. A lot of us, before we accepted Islam, took a bath on the weekends. And that was mostly under the arms. They call it a pigeon bath. I was a soldier in the Nation of Islam and very militant. Matter of fact, I can show you a picture. I have it up here of myself.
Yeah, which one is it?
This is a picture here of me with the bow tie on. Usually everybody could recognize a Muslim by the bow tie, the clean cut suits. Would you like to see my uniform?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I put this uniform on, I said, all praises to Allah. Because, you know, everybody wanted to get into the uniform, you see.
How did it make you feel when you...
Oh, I felt proud. I wanted everybody to see me, you know. And when people saw me coming down the block with my uniform, you know, they said, where you going, brother? I said, I'm going to the mosque. You ought to come with me, you know. Here it is. There it is. Boy.
How did you stand then?
I stood just like this when I stood post in the mosque, and we were very serious. You know, very serious.
What was the look for? The serious look?
Oh, that was the look. If you look at a Muslim boy, he would scare you because he had that look. And if you would have got up out of one of those seats to go against the minister, that would be the last you would learn a lesson because they would put a hurting on you.
The men who joined the nation were known as the fruit of Islam, They learned how to be soldiers for their cause in Fruit of Islam class.
That class had a lot of influence on us to see all of the brothers that live all over the city coming to one place. What they taught us was that we had been taking orders from Caucasians all of our lives. Now it's time to take orders from black men. We would hard, black plank, hard.
Any Muslim who was big enough to walk was big enough to drill. Without discipline, black people would never learn how to do for themselves, and Elijah Muhammad did not want his followers depending on the white man. He felt that blacks had been begging the white man for too long, so when other blacks marched for integration, Elijah Muhammad preached separation.
I say again, and I hope that I could say this, and that the whole world of human being could hear it. Never to want to marry white people. If the Ku Klux Klan want to keep their race white, I say, help yourself. Go to it. Now, when I say I want to keep mine black, Ku Klux Klan, keep your mouth out of it.
Elijah Muhammad's followers were openly critical of Martin Luther King's approach to civil rights.
Muslims don't believe in forcing themselves into neighborhoods where we're wanted. But anybody who sticks a dog on us is a dog himself. And we'll get the four-legged dog as well as the two-legged dog.
You know, and I know how much this people hates me. For what? Because I teach you the truth. That's all. They know that I'm doing a better job with you than any one ever appeared among you.
Elijah Muhammad's teachings did not arouse fear until the number of his followers began growing. Then both blacks and whites accused him of teaching hatred for white people coupled with black supremacy. Malcolm X, the most popular black Muslim in the early 1960s, defended his leader and teacher.
Mr. Muhammad's entire approach is to restore to the black man a knowledge of himself, a knowledge of his people, his cultural roots. And by doing this, this restores his racial identity, his racial dignity, his confidence as a race, racial confidence in his own kind. And when he gets this self-confidence, he's then able to stop blaming and begging the white man and is then able to stand on his own feet.
Others were calling Elijah Muhammad's Muslims a worse threat to the country than communism. And the FBI listed the Muslims as a black nationalist hate group and kept them under constant surveillance. But by the time Elijah Muhammad passed away, the country's mood had changed, and Americans praised the 137-pound Muslim leader for having built a nation from scratch.
He was the father of black self-consciousness. During our colored and Negro days, he was black.
Met with the Honorable Wallace D. Muhammad, the new leader of the Nation of Islam. Our exclusive series of reports that came out of that meeting continues tonight with a profile of the new Muslim leader. Wallace Muhammad inherited his position the day after his father, Elijah Muhammad, passed away. Muslim believers had no difficulty accepting their new leader, but the press did. One reporter described Wallace Muhammad as a mild-mannered postal clerk of the 1940s who wasn't tough enough to keep rank-and-file members from fighting among themselves for power. The most powerful and popular Muslims fired back at the reporter's typewriters by pledging allegiance to their new leader.
The holding crisis in the Nation of Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the royal family of Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam.
That's the loyalty of his followers. He marked off the 43 years his father had ruled and labeled them the first resurrection. He kicked off the second resurrection by giving the nation a facelift. He opened up membership to Caucasians. He gave the sisters permission to stay out after dark. Malcolm X could no longer be referred to as a hypocrite. Believers could boogie in public. Elijah Muhammad ran the nation like a military leader. He issued orders, and the believers were expected. 7 regional ministers sit on the board. the 200 mosques scattered throughout the United States.
We're failing to communicate with the people as we should communicate with the people. The people don't know enough about what we're doing.
The chief minister began his policy of telling the believers the facts 1 year after taking office, when he destroyed the myth that the nation was an $80 million empire. According to him, the businesses were in millions of dollars of debt.
Now, deception has crept into the nation. Wallace D. and then Minister Louis Farrakhan changed the teachings, changed the structure. Now that you really do need the teachings and the structure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not there. And it's being suppressed by those who are in charge of the Nation of Islam right now. This is Black Light.